it's a bit of shock in a good way. The Flames are 1-0. How did they keep doing this? Well, let's talk about a come-from-behind win for the Calgary Flames last night. The Calgary Flames have tied for the best record in the Pacific Division after a win over the Edmonton Oilers last night. And I joked at the start of the show that Edmonton hasn't won since Connor McDavid signed his contract. Are they taking it too easy? Is it too soft? Do they not have urgency now? We'll talk about the Oilers side of this in a second. Toxic. Wait, there was a Flames game last night? It did kind of seem like there was like although I do appreciate the timing of it all. Because as the Jays game was happening, and the celebrations thereafter, like while Kevin Gausman is going off and just F-bomb this, bleep that, and John Schneider is telling people to spread the news the Jays are going to the American League Championship Series, the Flames were losing. And then once the celebrations with the Blue Jays died down, Calgary was like, well, guess we could start winning in this game, and they were able to come back. So if you were a Flames fan and you just went from Blue Jays game, Blue Jays celebration, hey, let's tune into the Flames game, you had a great night. Because it was Jays win, we're celebrating, we're down, hey, we're tied. It was a lot of that last night for Calgary fans, if you were able to follow along in the right chronology. But it is something that sometimes gets overstated, and something that I did not factor in last year, and I don't think I'm going to be this wrong this year, but the Calgary Flames under Ryan Huska have established they're not going away. They have established a work ethic. They have established that foundation, that scoreboard, that's not going to tell them the game is done. It's going to be when that final horn sounds, and they are going to make you work for 60 minutes. So we can talk about all the talent deficiencies that this team has, and there's several. But one thing they don't lack, no matter who is in the jersey that has the flaming C on the front, they are going to work, and they are going to make you work for 60 minutes to have to put them away. And Edmonton, with a few bounces that didn't go their way, that was tough. And Calgary was able to get the job done. So again, we are seeing that level of work that the Flames have built up. All I can say, Tall John in the chat, all I can say is Kadri in the 8th round of a shootout, WTF, all hail Nazem. Yeah, that felt late. But hey, the dramatics, right? Like, just got to save the closer. You know when it's coming. But yes, that felt a little late on that one as well. But looking at this from a Calgary perspective, I think the big thing that we were going to be watching for, because Zane Parekh wasn't playing, which I was frustrated about and disagree with. Matt Gridin is here. And I know that there are some that are thinking this is just a 9-game stint, and it still may be. We have seen Flames players do very well in their first game since getting called up, and then it tails off quite a bit after that. I don't think that's going to be it. This kid did not seem overwhelmed by the moment. He didn't seem out of place against one of, I like to make fun of him a lot, but against one of the best teams in the National Hockey League. A team that's gone to back-to-back Stanley Cups, that has 2 of the 3 best players in the world on their team right now. And that kid didn't feel out of place one bit last night. Was it the screaming shot that we thought it would be that ended up getting the ball rolling for Calgary and getting him his first NHL goal? It was not. It bounced off of a couple of things. But that's where the Flames are going to get their goals from this year. And so for the kid to just have that confidence, put it on net, I thought he looked fine. This is going to be complimentary of the Flames. But I will say, they were obviously the second best team on the ice last night. Like, let's not sugarcoat a whole lot of this here. One team looked really good, and the other team was the Calgary Flames. But Calgary is able to come away with a victory in a very Flamesy way. And again, it's kind of back to the baseball conversation we had. Understanding the strengths you have as an organization. This is not going to be a team that is overly successful run and gun. Do we wish they would open it up offensively a little bit more? Yeah, I would like to see what the offensive upside could be for some of these guys in a system that allowed them to go a little bit crazy. But You look at last night, where the goals are coming from. It is Gridin just putting the puck on net and seeing what happens. It is Klapka winning a battle against 2 Oilers in front of the net, getting the puck over, and Connor Zary does his best Miles Straw and punches one the other way into the back of the net. It is Stuart Skinner having his controller disconnect for a second after a dump in, Blake Coleman rushing in and punching the puck into the net. Nothing was brilliant. Nothing was spectacularly set up or anything like that. All of it was Calgary Flames hockey. Working hard, battling, getting the puck to the dirty areas, and hoping something good happens. And it did 3 times. And Calgary was able to come away with the victory in that one. On the text line, wow. Going back to the 960 stuff. On the Twitch chat, Tall John, is Dustin Wolf the second coming of Kipper? He's just superhuman with his pads. Man, it was unbelievable what he was doing last night. He was spectacular again. And this is what it's going to be. He is going to keep them in games throughout. He has just established that he is that goalie. And it puts more urgency on the organization to figure the rest of the stuff out, because dudes like that don't come along all that often. It's why you spent over a decade, like Mika Kiprasov played his last game, 13, 14? Maybe a little later than that? Probably a little later than that. Either way, there's a reason he's still the one that's brought up. It's because it's really hard to find that next guy, and you have found him in this kid. So I'm not saying go out and trade for, Elias Pettersson, although that would fix some things, actually. So maybe a bad example. But don't go out and trade for Corey Perry. Don't go out and bring all these veterans in to try to boost that. But if you could figure out that first-line center thing ASAP, that would be beneficial. Because the kid is just too good to be wasted on a team that's just eh. But no, this is what this team's going to be, again, this season. They're going to make you work hard, they're going to make you work right to the final buzzer, and they're going to battle for every inch of ice out there. And there are going to be teams who aren't ready to match what the Flames are looking to do. On the other side, that's a tough one for the Oilers. And it's game 1, and it's whatever. So there's no overreacting that needs to be done. The one thing, though, is the problems that are coming up are the problems that have come up before, and the problems that we know end up being a fatal flaw for them and their championship hopes. Goaltending. Stuart Skinner. That third goal can't happen. The other one's it's a batted puck in front, and it's a puck that just gets thrown on goal. It is not all his fault, but again, what happens in the regular season are lessons that you take into the playoffs. It is one thing to say, oh, well, it was just one bad goal, it's fine. One bad goal against Calgary ended up costing you the game. What do you think one bad goal against Vegas, one bad goal against Florida, one bad goal against Dallas, Colorado, what is that going to do in the playoffs? Hey, because you've been there and you have seen that. So I understand, points-wise, whatever, this is not going to be the highlights of that game aren't going to be shown on the collapse of the Edmonton Oilers. They're going to be fine. But it is what happens in those games that are the lessons that you need to take from 1 to 82. Different sport, but the Blue Jay season shows all of these matter. And maybe it's not grand scheme, oh my gosh, wins and losses, but it's habits and it is performance and it is just little things that are going to come up when the games matter the most. And when that happens, when the games matter the most, it goes completely sideways. And you can't allow for those things to happen. Also, the other part of it, when you look at the numbers, the depth issues pop up already. The Oilers went with the McDry line for a lot of that game at 5-on-5. The fourth line did well. That line obviously did well. And then the middle six gets buried. And this is not a Flames team that should be happening to. Right? Or happening against. The Calgary, not overly deep by any stretch of the imagination. Edmonton, even with some depth forward issues, should not lose many of those battles to the Flames. And now, the ones that Edmonton won, they won by a lot. But the middle six ones, you can't lose that on a night in, night out basis if you are going to throw Draisaitl up on that top line. You need those guys to be able to try to stay above water, and they couldn't. So it is the depth issues that continue to plague this organization, and it is the goaltending problems that are there as well. And then we could talk about the problems with the defense, about losing some battles in front of the net that are leading to chances. So again, overall, they're going to be fine. This isn't anything you need to freak out about or anything like that. It is just when it comes down to where this organization needs to get to, and they've run out of margin for error. The season has to end with them hoisting the Stanley Cup. And so when that is the goal, these little things that pop up early, these are the things that need to get addressed before you get to April, May, and into June. But what did you guys think? Let me know your thoughts in the chat or in the comments after the fact. Tall John, on the Flames thing. Have we had a top center outside of Lindholm in the past decade? I don't think so. Man, like, since Gilmore and Nieuwendyk, no. You know, like, Lindholm was. But even then, like, you could have the conversation about how much of that was line mates and how much of that wasn't. Like, Monahan produced like that. I never viewed him as that. I always kind of thought it was more the, that number 13 guy who was hanging out on his wing, who was getting a lot of it done. Now, Monahan had to still get there, but still, they haven't. They have not, for the record. Like, since the Cup days in '89, even when Jerome was here, he never had that level of a player. All due respect to Conroy, but that was never Conroy. So no, they haven't in a very, 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 very long time. Also, I'm a huge Vegas fan. Habs ever since day one, have been ever since they took day one. Ever since day one when they took Marc-Andre Fleury. They are my backup team when the Flames don't make the playoffs. I was at a Vegas Flames game the night before the COVID shutdown. Oh, wow. It's quite the story to have. Vegas would be an interesting spot when a disease breaks out. But yeah, like, I mean, I've always had a bit of a soft spot for Vegas. If they do the Carter Hart thing that is rumored, that obviously takes a lot of that away. But even when they were doing they just have no loyalty to these guys. Like, they got loyalty to winning. And should they go about some of this a different way? Probably. Have they done a masterful job of building up an organization from the ground up? Yes, they are the gold standard when it comes to that in all of sports now. So I've always had a bit of a soft spot, but admittedly, certain decisions could come along that could maybe change the feel of that going forward.